Welcome to Sales Insight, where you get your little golden nugget for the week from amazing people in your industry. We have the pleasure of introducing you to Dr. Johannes Habel, Associate Professor at the Program for Excellence in Selling at the University of Houston.
Hello, Professor. How are you today?
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm great. You're doing really great today. Thank you for asking. And thank you for taking the time to give us some of your sales insights.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Well, our question for you today is, how is AI going to change in business, and what do I need to do to prepare?
That's a great question. So I would say, first of all, we have to clarify what AI is and what it isn't, right? When we talk about AI in business, we're not talking about the self-aware humanoid robot like C3PO or R2D2 or Data for the Star Trek fans out there. But we are talking about highly specialized algorithms that are good at one thing and one thing only. So that's the basic difference between general AI, this would be the humanoid robot, and narrow AI, these are the algorithms. Now, this whole robot thing, humanoid robot thing, that's futuristic. There are there are projects out there that try to go in this direction, but progress there has been rather small. The big progress we can see with these algorithms that take over one certain task for us. And basically in business, in a marketing and sales context, we can think of two big categories of tasks that AI is taking over. First of all, it can relieve us of the chores where a machine is just more efficient or faster than a human being. So let's say you're a salesperson, you were at a trade show, spoke to prospects, come home with 200 business cards. Now these business cards, physical business cards, need to go in your IT system, in your CRM system, we say in sales. So what do you do in the old world? You would sit down for an hour and type them into the CRM system. But in the new world, there are AI algorithms where you just take a picture and the AI in the background automatically realizes what's the name, what's the business name, what's the address, and it puts it in the IT system automatically. So there, basically, AI compensates for a lack of speed that you would have if a human being performed the task. The second big category is that AI can make us smarter. So it can give us information that we don't have. For example, it can tell us what is the customer likely to purchase. So I'm speaking to a customer as a sales guy. I need to make an offer. I need to pick out of my 1,000 products sometimes that I could offer. I need to pick the right product. And there we have AI that just analyzes in the background using machine learning algorithms, so statistical analyses, analyzes which of all of these products is the customer most likely to purchase from me. And then it makes the recommendation. So it gives me information. So beyond this lack of speed that AI can compensate for, the second thing is AI can compensate for a lack of information. And it could be a lot of different things, such as, is the customer likely to leave me, to stop purchasing? So what is the churn probability of a customer? And AI can forecast this for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Or things like, what is the customer's personality? Maybe if I want to speak to a customer, I would like to know how to approach the customer. What's the customer's personality like? So there is AI that looks at the customer's LinkedIn profiles, for example, digital footprint, and it's going to make a prediction of what this customer's personality is and how I should best interact with the customer. These are just some of the examples. So what do you need to do to prepare as a student? I would say some of the things you have to do to prepare is really understand what AI is and what it isn't, what I said in the beginning. Then the second thing is there are wonderful jobs out there, of course, when it comes to AI, and learning about the algorithms, the methods, how to develop AI, and what these algorithms can do for you. This will be very valuable in your career. And then once you have narrow down the field that you want to be in. Is it finance? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it purchasing? Familiarize yourself with the state of art of AI applications out there. I named a couple of AI applications for the sales domain, but you have other domains where you have other types of AI. So in the finance domain, you might forecast the likelihood of a customer is going to default on a credit you give, for example. Or in the purchasing domain, what is the likelihood that a supplier is going to be able to deliver every time on time? So there are a whole lot of different AI applications out there for different domains. And the better you understand which ones are used in your area, in your specialization, the better it will be for you, of course. And I would say one last thing, when I look into practice right now, one of the things we can see out there is that a lot of established employees are afraid of AI. So AI, of course, can cause fears because it gives you this vibe of this whole discussion that we have gives you this vibe of, well, maybe my job is going to be replaced and maybe AI will take everything over. I will be out of work. But when we look at what's actually happening is that the AI applications that we see don't replace the complex jobs that you guys are going to have and that many of your colleagues are going to have. They are going to replace jobs that are not as complex, but when it comes to managerial tasks where you have to make a lot of different decisions, where you don't have a lot of data to go on, then these tasks are more likely to be supported by AI, not replaced, but supported by AI. So AI will make you smarter, faster, and will ultimately increase your performance. And I think if you, with your knowledge of AI and also your fearlessness when it comes to digital technologies, when you act as a little bit of a role model out there in practice and somehow make sure that people understand by your role modeling that AI is nothing to be afraid of, then I think you can actually make a big difference in practice.
Well, thank you. That's really good to hear. Thank you for your tips. I myself, going into the industry, it's an easy feeling to be scared, because I feel like AI is taking over. So I understand people's fears. I myself have been scared for a while, but you telling me that AI can be more supportive rather than replacing my job makes me feel better, especially because, like I said, I'm just now starting off. What is all this education for if I'm, not going to have a job and robots are going to take over? So thank you for those comforting words. And thank you for all your tips as well.
My pleasure. And maybe let me close with my favorite quote on AI from two colleagues who published a couple of papers and books about this, which taps right into what you're saying. My favorite quote about AI is they wrote, "Over the next decade, AI won't replace managers, but managers who use AI will replace those who don't." And I think this summarizes it up very nicely.
Yes, it really does. That was the perfect quote to end this discussion. So thank you. And we really hope to see you again on Sales Insight.
So do I. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching, and tune in next time for Sales Insight.